What's going on, Zach?
Hey, how's it going, Charles?
Oh, hanging in there.
Hanging in there?
Wrapping up a busy week.
Fair enough. I think we
And I
have a
grabbed
good amount
the
of.
updated snapshot, so appreciate you sending me
Oh
that.
yeah,
Actually
no,
had someone
no
just
worries.
just had someone sign up and use the new updated version. So,
Awesome. Yeah, lots of stuff in there. That's probably the last big one we ever do. Um, just as that aren't like maybe specific module by module. There'll always
yeah.
be like little step improvements on modules, but that was a pretty beefy one. Got a good amount of people scheduled here, but not sometimes the Friday afternoon we get a few more kind of late bails here. And then that do you actually do you actually use the quick start at all with any of your customers right now?
I do. I use the quick start. The quick start's one of my most popular snapshots
Got it.
that I use that because I use it for my entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
Um, so if they're not quite to the point where they need a full-fledged business in a box,
Hmm.
basically, if they're not an established business, that's what I use the quick start for. Um,
Got it.
so yeah,
I think the one thing we haven't like talked about as much on that is like because we've moved to I say like our new kind of building format that we have, going from the quick start to the small business is going to be a lot simpler. So if you're using the quick start and you want to be able to add those portions, that'll be when we talk about like updating, that'll be a lot simpler because it's more just like adding features as opposed to changing them.
yeah. Usually, I mean, like I just had two podcasters come on.
Hmm.
Well, one does long form video to short form, and then I've got
Hmm.
another podcaster slash Amazon affiliate. Um, they both signed up yesterday. They're both on the quick start because the quick start's good because it covers your butt so you don't look like a buffoon. There's
Hmm.
autoresponders in there to the incoming messaging channels. You have a calendar,
Hmm.
like you get a mock checkout form. Very basic
Yep.
stuff, just kind of cover
Hmm.
your butt stuff.
Yep.
But it gives them the freedom to build out their own process.
Hmm.
Because like for them, there's no snapshot that out there in the market that would work for them. Their unique
Hmm.
processes, I mean, they're going to have to build it
Hmm.
to what they need.
Yep.
So, like the Amazon affiliate, he's actually going to build out his account. He's going to utilize our VA services, build out his account to
Hmm.
where he basically automates every part of it. And then we're going to snapshot it and
Hmm.
create a snapshot for other Amazon affiliates.
It's a
And
really good idea.
he'll get a residual off of the um, snapshot. So they'll sign up for the
Hmm.
SaaS and then they'll purchase the snapshot as well. So
Got
yeah.
it. Are you like when you're presenting, and it might maybe different with his case, but when you're presenting this, are you fully white labeled?
Hmm.
Yeah. So you don't present it all from like from high level.
Uh,
Gotcha.
no,
Gotcha.
no. And he's coming over from HubSpot. I mean, we get a lot of people
Hmm.
over from HubSpot.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so HubSpot's probably one of our biggest ones that we pull from.
Hmm.
Handful of thrives every month. So,
Hmm. Got it. I think that the biggest, and I'm sure you have some insight on this, but like one of the biggest roadblocks we have when planning out having there's different levels of white label here, but having like further explainer videos for like the small business on just like each the steps and the use cases
yeah.
is that I mean there's different levels. Obviously, we can white label like, just for their clients. We can white label like different kinds of niches as well too. But it is that people use it differently, and
Hmm. Well, and
yeah,
like
yeah.
I think that if there were white label videos, like
Mhm.
if you took automation library
Mhm.
and did like the sales mini snapshot,
Yeah.
the sales module. If you
Mhm.
took that and kind of created a white label explainer video, like, hey, here's what's here.
Mhm.
And then you took those, combined them with a few additional ones for the small business, just kind of explaining what's there. I mean, that
Mhm.
would be flat out amazing. Which, and I may have answered your question wrong when you were asking about white label. So we don't go crazy with like customizing dashboards and colors and all this other
Mhm.
stuff that people do.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We have some
Mhm.
header buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. We try to keep it
Mhm.
somewhat simple and non-reliant on what may be changed within the platform. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that headache. Um,
That's the thing on the on a videos though. That's like kind of the biggest consideration is showing videos when people are using,
yeah.
they have their different setup, they have their, even just like the logo, right? It looking different.
hmm Yeah. So I know, like on the White Label Academy, they basically just they've defaulted to the dark sidebar because it's the most popular one.
Hmm.
I think, and then they just blocked this out, so
Yeah.
there's nothing there. It's just blank space.
Hmm.
Um, but this is, I mean, this is we have our header buttons here, and then we've got our
Yep.
feedback panel, and then the chat widget.
Hmm.
Um, but that's really it. I mean, we've
Yep.
got the AI copywriter in there, but
I
um,
think I think the way that we're kind of tiering it is starting first with just like what are the key actions that someone has to do to not necessarily set up, but what are the key actions that the person using the sub account has to do to like perform the actions.
yeah,
So, for instance, like with calendar automations, like less like not actually going into the workflows, but more so like, okay, this is where this is getting filled out to book a demo. Okay, awesome. And then going into the conversation manager and being like, okay, now this is an example. This is the first reminder. Okay, this is the next reminder. This is what happens if they say, this is what happens if they're going to reschedule, for instance.
yeah.
Um, More so starting like with a high level, like we fill the form. This is the action. This is the tag. Maybe you'll see.
And I think that's great. I mean, I think back to like the small business 1.0. So there was a
Mhm.
landing page that was
Mhm.
basically your everything landing page. Like here's buttons that
Mhm.
go to all the different forms that are within the snapshot, like
Mhm.
your different calendars and everything.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
nobody knew it was there.
Yeah.
I had one customer use now he loved it. And he was all the time updating it and kind of moving buttons around and stuff. But that was what he had it as his default tab when he opened
Yeah.
up his browser. That's the first tab that opened up was that because it had, if he needed to
Mhm.
grab a link, he'd just right click on the button, copy, paste it into Alignable or wherever he was at, and he
Mhm.
had that link. But nobody knew it was there. Um,
Yeah.
Unless you knew to look for it. So I think kind of like what you're talking about, like super, like this is what triggers this stuff to happen. Like this is the action that's being taken or needs to be taken in order for this, all this other, you don't have to get into all the workflows. I think starting from that standpoint
Yeah, for
would be
sure. And
good.
then that puts us, because we can always build upon that, but then
Mm-hmm.
it's because a lot of people don't even have don't allow access to the workflows.
Yep.
And that they don't want to they don't want to even like show that like as an option, or they don't want to even show like the templates changing and stuff. Um, that it might be more like a done for you piece, where
Yeah.
it's just keeping the setup very separate than the actual delivery item, which that'll probably be I mean that'll be version 1 year. We have that we're gonna be starting that at the second half of our sprint later next week. We got some of them cut already, but
Nice. Yeah. And I think, if there was some way to tie it into the onboarding engine, well, couldn't really do that because you've got the universal form now. Which there's
well,
launch guide. So in the onboarding engine, there's a check mark for guides, although I don't know what the heck that even actually turns on. I don't think it actually turns on anything.
Yeah, that's a tech team jumping the gun a little bit, and that'll just be guides to use the actual the onboarding form or the onboarding engine.
I got you from the end user side.
Yeah, yeah,
I got you.
exactly.
I got you.
Um, like that being said, though, there's a lot more that we can do with that, and I think we can utilize the onboarding engine a bit more in cutting some of those setup steps. Um, not a ton of them, but there are a few more areas that we can add into that as well.
Yeah. Do you have is the small business 1.0 still on the roadmap for the onboarding engine? Like building out that form?
We may even have one here. Let me see. Obviously, you get a lot of value from that for the accounts that are using that, right?
Yeah, for my older accounts that, you know,
Mhm.
are using that because like I use the marketer's toolkit. And so but I have to have like onboarding engine
Mhm.
V2, onboarding engine V1.
Yeah,
Uh
I am. I'm 90% sure that you can use the template there that says SaaS, the SaaS in a box one. And that should contain all of the custom values. I'll get confirmation on that one though.
okay.
Because that it'll only if you map it to that with the small business 1.0 as like a base location, then only those custom values will come up that are relevant for that account. That's probably again there could be a couple gaps, but until we have that written out, for instance, just on the end, I'll show you what I mean on that as well too. Also, it looks like maybe it's just the two. I guess long weekend here. People are out and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yes.
So for instance here. I think this one has some accounts attached to it. Sorry, bad example. Oh, that's weird. I'll just go into any of these just so I can show you what I mean. So when you build a form and actually just from the top, when you build a form and you use this right here. So this template, the SaaS agency box that's
Mm-hmm.
labeled very strange. The SaaS agency box master onboarding form. Um, this will contain the custom values from the small business 1.0 as well too.
Okay.
Now, whatever if you pick a sub account that has just the small business loaded in,
Mm-hmm.
when you build this form, and after you hit build and it comes up, the only stuff that'll come up will be what's just give an example. Only stuff that comes up will be what's
What's in that
what
snapshot?
actually
Yeah.
exists in that what actually exists in that sub account.
Yeah.
And then if there are any gaps, you'll see this right here. So right here you can see
I
how
got you.
many are mapped. So 33 to 84. So if there are a few odds and ends, there would only be there could potentially be a couple in there.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that'd be in the short term on that, but that's what we're gonna do probably here. Just go back, but we haven't don't have a huge demand for that one. All right, well, looks like this may not be a fruitful discussion here today, Charles. I probably should have realized the President's Day one, and maybe see if we could do this a little earlier in the day. But consistency is better for everyone, anyways. But we'll get these every once in a while. Was there anything you wanted any support or help with?
Not that I can think. The only other around the onboarding engine, do you know if there are like like if someone wants to go in and build their own form, is there any training material on that at all?
We're building more out. Right now I have this you've potentially seen this before. I have this Loom video. This does like the full end to end.
It's the full end to end?
When I say full, it's just kind of it's everything from setting the initial piece. It's 10 minutes long, so you can kind of fast forward through some of them.
Okay.
But if you're for instance thinking about like you want to send that to like your VA, like to learn, or anyone on your team, this video would cover everything.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love that. I haven't seen that.
I think I just sent it randomly to another Zoom. I got a few bots in here right now. I'll send it to you on Slack right now.
Okay. Yeah, because we just got another call from an agency today wanting us to do some onboarding automation for them. So
cool.
I need to get my team up to speed on this onboarding engine.
Yeah, this is that video just basically just like a little perfect end to end. There's a couple buttons that look slightly different. The only thing it doesn't cover is we recently added where we just have a field. It doesn't need to be a custom value.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's not covered in there. Everything else is there. It troubleshoots kind of what happens if you pop up and it says this feature is not available. It'll demonstrate why that comes up and that sort of thing.
I gotcha. Okay.
I don't know why I say it. I do. I'm making the video. Yeah. Me in the video, I explain that.
Understand, man. Understand.
Yeah, we do have a course coming out on this, just specifically the onboarding engine too, because more than just the small business automation library using it now moving forward too, which we are I should say this too, white label onboarding, we're going to move to just using this as well. There's a couple changes we need to make on it, but just so it's a little cleaner. The funnel's a little clunky that we have right now. It works, it's good, but I think the onboarding engine is a lot smoother, and it'll add more flexibility. Like if you want to change something with onboarding, it won't be like as much of a discussion. Okay, get a hold of Alejandro, make this change to what you want. It'll just be, I also want to add this field. I want to add this question.
Gotcha. So we're going to be asking him more up front.
I mean, it might not be more. It'll be you'll be able to choose, and you'll be able to choose.
I gotcha. So there's going to be a separate. So you're going to embed the calendar in the onboarding engine form?
Exactly. Yeah.
My only concern with that is it not feeling like an actual, like, how do you, so you would redirect from your checkout form to the onboarding form, but how does that backfill into their contact profile in my agency sub account?
I shouldn't say we're doing this like right out of the box from how we use the onboarding engine. We're gonna be manipulating it a little bit here.
Okay.
Just so it's a smooth, because we
I'll
also
hang
need to know
tight.
like we need to know like the location ID and stuff as well too. And there's like
Yeah.
sticky
Yeah.
there's information that needs to pass over. So it's pretty close to being out of the box. It's not it's pretty close, but we want to basically just be a few settings that you can change, but that you can edit that the onboarding engine the same way you would just go and edit a like a survey, for instance.
I gotcha.
Because right now we're not like, that's not something that's changing. It's just the same survey that's used, and we don't really have those processes in place if you want to make a change. Right. So if you want to ask a different question, like in the onboarding process after
Or
they
reword
purchase
it or something.
exactly, yeah. So instead of going through the whole process, if you want to like try stuff, add value, maybe just add like bonuses and stuff, like make it really simple. You can just do it through the onboarding engine.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
that's
we'll
that's
see
something
how it
that's
looks when it comes out.
yeah.
So
I think it'll be a pretty clean experience.
yeah.
Probably more of it's to help with our internal processes,
Yeah.
if anything, to clean that up. But yeah, it should be just a bit smoother, as opposed to like waiting in between each step and everything.
Yeah. The I guess the okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll make we're
I
not
can
we're not
I
doing
can see
we
that.
won't do any widespread changes at once. We don't really do that with anything. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely get your feedback on that, as well too, and what that looks like. And you might be able to come up with different use cases as well. But even just kind of planting that in, I feel like may spring some stuff, because people get their onboarding set up and then they don't really touch it. Where it's, if your offer's changing and everything, that probably should be changing quite often.
Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't really change anything with it other
Mhm.
than I added a cover image to the video. Um,
Mhm.
the video, I'm glad you said that it was changing, because now I'm not going to go make a new video, because the old video is pretty horrific, to be honest. It's so long.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
so freaking long. Like nobody's gonna sit there and watch a 20-minute video to fill out
Mhm.
a few
Yeah.
forms. Like it goes way too deep on each thing. It's like, good God. I tell people to skip it all the time. I'm like, don't
Mhm.
even bother, like, unless you're just really not tech savvy at all in any way, shape, or form. Like, if you don't know what a domain is, then watch the video. If you know what a domain is, you don't need to watch the video.
Yeah,
That's one
there's
thing I
probably
want to say.
different versions depending on demographics, and it probably has to be broken up a little bit, because the vast majority of people that we work with fall into that camp of like getting their domain, just setting up a subdomain in the
Yeah.
DNS record is like the biggest pain point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, and that's why, I mean, the onboarding team does a great job of getting all that stuff
Mhm.
set up.
Mhm.
Um, but it would be good. I would like to, where I could see a benefit from the onboarding engine is that I could possibly incorporate some of the things I'm having the onboarding team do, like making sure that they um, join the Slack channel, they
Mhm.
join the community,
Mhm.
um, little piddly things. I wonder if I couldn't figure out a clean way of getting that implemented into that new onboarding funnel, essentially, to kind of
Yeah, there may
alleviate
be,
some of
yeah.
those remedial tasks from the onboarding team so they can get to the nuts and bolts faster.
Yeah, there's a lot of this too is so we can do better prep before calls. That's
Yeah.
like the biggest piece, is that if we can prep further, then we can, as you're saying, we can get into like the actual meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Um, or if we need to spend a long time setting up a domain, which sometimes comes up, or something random like that, we have the space to do that, and it's not like a follow-up call. But it's mainly on the prep side. So if we can do more prep before calls, that's easier on us, because having someone that speaks in front of someone, it's a very different skill for us to hire for than, someone following a checklist of setup items. But also, if we can get more stuff set up before calls start, then we can just perform better calls, obviously. Anyways, it's a work in progress here.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we get that kind of towards the end of not this week, but the following week. That's kind of the timeline for getting at least a few people beta testing that. So we'll make sure to send you some videos as we make progress on that. Would love to get your feedback.
Yeah, no, I'm always up for trying stuff. Stephanie turned, I guess she got tired of me harassing her about it. She finally turned on the academy for me. I'm like, I don't know what the heck you were so worried about it. It's fine. Like, there's a couple little things, but like, it's fine. the white label academy and the chat widget.
In the chat widget. Gotcha.
Yeah. She turned it on. I'm like, it looks good. I'm like, there's a couple little things, but it's just like, because one thing that it does, and I sent her a video on it. So like if you're in the white label academy here, if you minimize it, this needs to get truncated. Because and it doesn't in this lesson, but some of these see how it breaks it, how it wraps the header.
Got it.
Not completed as in two separate lines.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at this yet.
Silly little things. Like, I'm like, Stephanie, that is not a big deal. Like, because most people will leave it expanded, as I said. But if they're working on something, they may keep it right there while they're working on something, so they can kind of follow it. But I'm like, looks good. So yeah, I'm all for testing stuff. I don't care.
And that's going to get used so much more if it's accessible, right?
Well, that was the thing. I mean, I had it as a button under the get help. I created a button that popped out to a new tab. But yeah, they just need to add another. That was one other thing that I did give feedback on was on the Extendly widget itself. On the home tab customization, they need to add a button for the academy, a native button, because they can set it up to redirect within the widget itself, where when we add them, we can't. Maybe it's iframe. Yeah, I don't think it's the same though. Yeah, if I do iframe.
We just discussed this in a leadership call yesterday on this. This is one of the items. It just is like a little it's a loose end that's like almost finished, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of got put to the side a little bit. That same with I think there is plans to have a review engine as well too.
Yeah, it was there, and then they took it out. But you can see, so like if I go here, I mean that's the native implementation, but the only way to get it inside of here without opening into a new tab is the iframe, and it's a totally different experience that does not work.
Yeah.
Like, this is horrible. So if they could add that, like they did with the the get help and the get started, if they could add that native button, that would knock that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
awesome, Charles. Well, I may leave you at that one here. Doesn't look like this will be as good of one, but we'll definitely see. I think I'll be there for the one on Monday if you are around. I know it's a long weekend, but if not, we'll see you next Friday.
Yeah, I should be there Monday, and then I gotta. Yeah, should be there Monday. So
sweet.
All right, man.
Sounds good, Charles.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Yeah.
Extend your capabilities with Extendly. We'll handle your white label high level support 24/7. What are you waiting for? Get Extendly.